Well, I definitely think that if you look at the research, I've read that they're getting as much as a $1.46 subsidy on a per package basis. So I do think that in the case of the U.S. Postal Service, Amazon is definitely getting a sweetheart deal, yes.
Donald, what about you?
Well, absolutely. You know, the bottom line is the post office has subsidized its parcel delivery through its first-class mail for years, for decades, really. That's why it's running at a 20 to 30% discount to the rates you're going to see via UPS or FedEx. And the beneficiary of that, of course, is Amazon or anybody else who uses them for that last mile. And to what the point that Morgan made just a few minutes ago, and you as well, Bill. It's one thing to say that that should be allowed because they're going anyway to deliver first-class mail, but when they're going specifically on Sunday, well, then the bleeding turns into massive hemorrhaging, and they're doing so for the benefit of one customer, which, from the outside looking in, just doesn't make sense.
Okay, but you know what? I mean, we seem to be blaming their losses on Amazon, but the post office has been losing money well before Amazon was ever invented.
Well, I'm not blaming. Great point.
I know you're not specifically, but we're thinking, and the president's tweet suggests that it's Amazon that's causing the Postal Service to lose as much money as it is because it doesn't charge enough at this point. So how do we solve the post office's problem in this case, I guess is where I'm going with this, Donald.
Well, you make a great point. First of all, this president wouldn't be the first policymaker to gloss over the details. But that said, the bottom line is that you should not be, for the benefit of one customer, in a fashion that is detrimental to private companies that pay their own way, subsidizing Amazon. Whether it's Amazon or any of the others, there should be more fair, a real balance in what the costs are in delivering that parcel, whether it be for Amazon or for Jet.com or for nobody ever heard of.com. It should be a price that more fairly reflects the cost to make that package happen, and indeed that's what happens when you pay FedEx or UPS to deliver it.
Tom, my understanding is this has come about because in part mail volume is down 40% from its peak. So the U.S. Post Office has this spare capacity that it's basically just letting Amazon boxes ride on. And in 2006, there was a congressional act requiring the post office not to undercharge anybody, and I think to harmonize what it charges, period. So is it up to Congress now to either enforce that better, or, you know, can the post office tomorrow just say, okay, we're going to raise the rates for Amazon, and what happens to taxpayers if Amazon then goes elsewhere and doesn't use that service?
Sure. So I think if you step back for a minute and you look at retail, there's clearly a need for a third participant beyond FedEx and UPS, which arguably operate a duopoly. But I think what we're talking about here is getting Amazon to pay a fair rate for the service from the Postal Service, and then generally speaking, getting the volume of sales in the Postal Service to be enough for them to offset their cost. But you bring up a good point, Kelly. Basically, the challenge is that the first-class mail volumes continue to go down for a lot of different reasons, but clearly e-commerce is headed in the right direction, and if they can get both an increase in volume and perhaps a more fair market rate from Amazon, that could go a long way.
But is Amazon going to continue to use the post office if it has to pay more, do you think?
Absolutely. If you look at what Amazon's doing in general, they're increasing their own first-party logistics efforts because A, they need to, and B, they realize that they're over-reliant on FedEx, UPS, and then I guess to a lesser degree, the U.S. Postal Service. The good news, though, is Amazon continues to grow. I think there'll be an opportunity for increase in volume with all three of those carriers, UPS, FedEx, and the U.S. Postal Service. So I do think there's an opportunity that if they charge at a fairer rate, there'll still be lots of volume from Amazon for them to take care of.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.